I'd like to welcome everybody to the People's Church of Divine Prophecy today. Thank you all for coming, choosing to spend this morning here with us. I'd like to ask a little bit of housekeeping issues here. If you have cell phones, please silence them unless you're law enforcement or medical personnel. Restrooms are down the hall, quick right, quick left. There's coffee and donuts in the back room. Help yourself at any time during the service. I'd like to have Linda Walsh light the candles, symbolizing the unity of body, mind, and spirit to start the service. Please stand for the opening prayer and remain standing for the first hymn. Please join in an attitude of prayer. Dear Father God, we give thanks for this moment in time. May we feel this time of year as a time of peace and harmony, a time to connect back to that fellowship of mankind, a time to connect back to our spirit within to express that fellowship of mankind. And may we feel the true spirit and not the outer resemblances of it with the material goods. May we reconnect at this time of year, a dedicated time throughout the world of peace, harmony, and hope and kindness to your fellow man. Amen. Amen. The next portion of the service is a reading by the pastor. As you know, this is where I try to put something of my past week into a spiritual perspective of something that has come to me, something I've had to reconcile with my spiritual teaching versus my physical life walk. What came to me this week was personal responsibility. As a spiritualist, that's one of the cornerstones of the faith. Personal responsibility tells me that I'm responsible for everything, every time I do it, regardless of the reason that I did it. There's no becauses, there's no, well, they did that. I am responsible for everything I do, everything I say, everything I think, every time I do that. As a result, I'm responsible for making amends for incorrect actions. I'm responsible for my own spiritual path and the choices that I make during that spiritual path. I have to admit when I'm wrong, which has always been a tough one for me. As I have moved down this path in the last few years, that's gotten easier for me to admit when I'm wrong, but then taking the action is the other part of it, because the other part of personal responsibility is to take the action that goes with it. And a lot of times we study spiritual truths and we feel spiritual truths and we believe them, but putting them into practice is a little more difficult. Going out and taking the action. And it doesn't matter how long you have been on a conscious spiritual path of development, you enter into encounters, especially of a personal nature, that challenge your spiritual beliefs quite a bit of the time. Sometimes inaction is appropriate and sometimes action is appropriate. And that's the fine line that we walk with personal responsibility. We have to allow other people to be personally responsible with their lives as well as us taking personal responsibility for ours. And I think that part of it is one of the most difficult, is to stand back and watch somebody you love be responsible for their actions and to allow them to have God work with them in that fashion. God works with everyone, us individually, other people individually, within the perspective of their choices. So when we interfere with those life choices and try to take the burden of other people's choices, we actually interfere with God's interaction with that person a lot of the time. Now, I'm not saying don't pull somebody out from in front of a speeding car, don't pick a child up that's freezing to death. But in general terms, we should try not to involve ourselves. We should encourage people. We should be a kind ear for them. We should allow them to feel safe when they're around us, but we really can't, a lot of the time, make decisions for them because their nature will bring them back to that situation again as soon as you stop interfering with it. The nature of their life, the nature of God within their lives will bring them back to that point of decision again. So you're just delaying this person having to deal with that thing that they've chosen to bring into their life. You can love them, you can hold them, you can be there for them, but don't interfere with God's working in their life. A lot of times, as a previous lifeguard, I can't do that anymore. I'm not quite in that good a shape anymore, but one of the old-time techniques they used to teach you is to stay back from somebody and let the elements subdue them. Let them struggle with the water until they become submissive and they become overwhelmed by the water rather than trying to grab them immediately in the panic of your emotion trying to save them, because they'll drown you right with them. And that's a lot what happens with us when we get involved in other people's lives and other people's decisions. They drag us right down with them. So it's no different than doing that. As a rescuer, you sometimes let the elements overcome. God does that a lot of times with people too. Lets the circumstances and the decisions of their lives drive them to a point of acceptance, of help. And sometimes we have to do that as much as it hurts our hearts, as much as it goes against our nature of kindness. Sometimes we have to do that. And other times when we're personally responsible for things and we're wrong, there's a key thing there. Is apologies should be immediate. They should not be delayed. When you say something wrong and you do something wrong, the sooner, the more quickly that you try to make amends for it or apologize for it, the sooner the hurt goes away. And the easier it is for the hurt to go away. And I run into that a lot of times with my wife. She's a spiritual medium also, very sensitive. I tend to be more of an intellectual medium where I'm not that sensitive to things that outside me. And sometimes I say and do things that hurt her feelings. And I'll realize it, and most of the time I go back in and apologize. But sometimes I'm just going to be obstinate and say, well, one of those things. So, we have to deal with that every day in our lives, and we have to encounter that all the time in personal relationships. And I'll close with a little saying I used to watch a lot of sci-fi, and there was this character in Star Trek, Data, who was a robot, and an artificial life form, they used to call him. And he asked one of the people one time, he said, why as human beings, I've observed that you hurt the people you care the most. He says, why do you do that? That doesn't make any sense to me. And why do you treat them the worst some of the time? And the response was, because we think that they will understand. We think that they will, have an acceptance of it more so than other people. And I don't know if I quite agree with that, but it was interesting that observation. Why do we treat the people we love the most, sometimes the worst? So that I'll leave you with that thought, and happy holidays. This time of year, there's a lot of confusion from people outside the spiritualist churches when they hear us singing Christian Christmas carols and things. And while we do not believe in Jesus Christ as our Savior, most spiritualists do believe in Jesus Christ. And we connect more to the humanity of Jesus Christ, what he did while he was here, the wonderful teacher that he was, the first one to found a religion based on love and the rule of gold rather than the rule of iron. That's what we subscribe to Jesus Christ as, one of the greatest teachers that ever walked the earth, the greatest accompaniment and the encompassment of the divinity of God. So sometimes people get a little confused, and we sing the old Christmas carols primarily because it brings us back to a time in our lives when most of us have happy memories of Christmas, I imagine. I'm sure some don't, but the majority of us do. Being in America, we're for the majority anyway. So the next portion of the service is the healing portion. What page did you say that prayer
3.
was on? I'll ask the two healers to take their places behind the chairs. During the service, you'll hear this. During the meditation, that means the chairs have become vacant. You can go over and sit in one of the chairs. Ashkhen will lead us in a guided meditation during that time.
Find a comfortable position to sit. And there is no stress on your physical body. Take a few deep breaths. Inhale, exhale, and close your eyes. Taking another deep breath in. And with your exhale, just release and let go of the thoughts that are occupying your mind. Any concerns, any worries at this time, just let it go. Bring your focus and your awareness to your breath. Just engage in the mechanism of your breath. While you breathe, feel your breath taking you deeper and deeper within. Find that peaceful presence that is within. Feels very quiet, calm, and soothing. Just connect to this peaceful presence and become one. Repeat to yourself quietly. I am at peace within and with my surroundings. I am at peace within and with my surroundings. While you are breathing, feel the peaceful sensations filling your entire body, your mind, your spirit. In the presence of God, mighty I am presence. We now call forth the divine healing energy to be here at this time and to provide each one of us with the healings that we need for our mind, body, and spirit. As we call upon the law of forgiveness, we forgive all those who have hurt us. We forgive those who have caused us pain and suffering. We forgive and we detach with love. We let go emotions of fear, anger, resentment. We let go of whatever is holding us back from advancing spiritually. Friendships, relationships, any circumstances that are holding us back from achieving our highest potentials. We let them go to the light of God that never fails. We ask God, the omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, to be in charge of our lives, our existence, our soul and spirit, while we are here in this physical plane, on earth and beyond. In the name of universal Christ consciousness, we ask for protection, and we accept it as it's done. While you are breathing, bring your attention to your heart chakra in the center of your chest. Become aware of your heart chakra and become aware of the love that is in your heart. Your heart is the cradle of your soul. God resides in your heart. Become aware and feel the presence of God in your heart. Feel God's unconditional love in your heart. And know that you are capable of loving yourself and everyone unconditionally. Love is a pure state of being. In your heart, there is no judgment. There is no discrimination. There is no separation. In your heart, there is only love, unconditional love. While you are breathing in and out, feel your heart chakra opening. And feel God's love pouring out of your heart in a form of loving and healing energy. Feel this love energy surrounding you from within and without. Feel God's love comforting you and healing you. See this love extending further out, filling this entire room. See the energy further extending outside. Envision the earth, Mother Earth, and see the earth embraced with this love energy. Envision humanity everywhere, around the world, in all the countries, all the people. Feel the motion of this love energy circulating and embracing every individual. Feel this energy connecting and uniting everyone together and creating harmonious, peaceful, loving environment everywhere. Feel the universal love. Feel the universal consciousness. For there is power in unity and weakness in separation. Feel the connectedness. You become one within and with all, with humanity, with Earth, and the universe. Embrace this universal love and let it be part of your consciousness. And hold the highest intentions for love, peace, unity, and harmony. Remember that we are all one. We are one. I am you. You are me. We are one. And in this unity, we all live in peace, love, and harmony. Because we are one. We are one. Feel that oneness in your consciousness and feel the power of love that you have in your heart. Be the love that you are. If anyone hurts you, love that person more. Think with your heart. Feel with your heart. Listen with your heart. Love is the ultimate power of the universe, and love is what holds us together. And love is God. God within each one of us. Embrace your divinity. Slowly become aware of your physical body. Come back to your physical senses. And let God's love always, always guide you. So it is.
Now time for the next portion of the service, which is the inspirational lecture. Today's lecturer is Dr. Reverend Phil DeLong. I've known him for probably 15 or 20 years, I guess. It's been a while. Dr. DeLong has always had a strong tie to the mineral kingdom and the angelic kingdom. He's done a lot to study both. He's experienced both personally, and he endeavors to express that in every aspect of his life, his public speaking, his workshops, his daily practices, and I'm sure that we're going to have a wonderful lecture today with that. He's also an ordained minister through the Lively Stones Fellowship. Please welcome Dr. Reverend Phil DeLong.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the introduction, Steve. It's a pleasure to be here at the People's Church. And I want to begin with a statement that we've all heard, and we are a spirit in a physical body. And we are a physical being experiencing life on the path to enlightenment. And that is the path to oneness. Now, for what I'm going to speak about today is the experiences that I've been going through lately. And the first one is will. And last week I gave a spiritual service on will, and it was an I Am discourse from Ascended Master Hercules. And to begin with will, it all depends upon how much you want, you will to be, you will to do, and you will to become. Now Hercules went through 12 labors, using the will of suffering and struggles to become. Certainly, this is where the word willpower comes from. It was his will to overcome and go through his labors. Now, as far as will, there's other ascended masters who use the will. Saint Germain, as his embodiment of Christopher Columbus, it was his will that carried his ships to the Americas. And Saint Germain, helping America to achieve its freedom, it was the will of the patriots that he assisted. Will does not have to be suffering and struggles. Okay? It is the will to love, to work in harmony, not discord. The steps of Buddha's Noble Eightfold Path. Right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. These are our will to be, your will to do, and your will to become enlightened. So it is our will to love. Love is the greatest expression of the universe. It is. Now, with the will of love brings us joy. And one of my experiences this week was going to the hospital and seeing 2 newborn twins. Okay? So, and we talk about the joy there. Even on page 10, our Deck the Halls, that we just sung. Hail the new, ye lads and lasses. Sing we joyous all together. And it just happened to be that these were fraternal twins. And they were a male and a female, a lad and a lass. So, and I have a story associated with this joy. It is this young lady who I visited came to me for a reading back in March. And she said, I asked her what was troubling her, and she said she's been trying for 3 years to get pregnant. So I gave her a little healing, and then she pressured me, well, how long? And I said, I see the number 3. That could be 3 weeks or 3 months. So in 20 days, she called me, I'm pregnant. So, but she had the will to do, which I had no part in. Okay, and the will to become. The will to become a loving mother. So it's the will of love, and we always have to remember, put joy in our life. It's important. That is the part of love. And sometimes, especially the Christmas season, we get all these stresses. We more or less don't see the joy in our life. But if we open our eyes, it is everywhere. Just awaken. My next thought is gratitude. Now, on Tuesday, I dedicated a gratitude garden over in the land. And this is more or less a meditation space. But as far as gratitude, we have to give thanks to everything about us. Giving thanks to all the kingdoms, the mineral kingdom, the plant kingdom, the animal kingdom, and to all of humanity. It is from the mineral kingdom that we get nourishment to our bodies and through the plant kingdom. The plant kingdom, we give gratitude for the beauty and the food it provides. In the animal kingdom, we give gratitude for the companionship with our pets and all the other products associated with it. It is on a daily basis that we should give gratitude. And when we awake each morning, it is a good thing to at least be grateful for 5 things. There should be a daily practice. So this is what I came up with today. I am grateful for my body. I am grateful for my health. I am grateful for my family. I am grateful for the rain this morning. And I am grateful for the Florida weather in December, and it's not 10 below zero in Frostbite Falls, Minnesota. So, however, Spirit is perfect, okay? And we should say our affirmations and our gratitudes with perfection in it. So, I am grateful for my perfect body. I am grateful for my perfect health. I am grateful for my perfect family. And I am grateful for the perfect rain this morning. So it watered my nice garden, and I will nourish it later. And I am grateful for the perfect Florida weather. So the universe is perfection, and we have to bring that perfection into us. In my email this morning from, there's a daily thought from Ascended Master Dwakul's group, and his thought today was, I dedicate each breath I take this day to the flowering of kindness in the garden of my heart. Now, as far as gratitude goes, the universe is mysterious and full of awe. It is awesome. There is gratitude happening out there to you that you're not aware of. I'll take an example this morning. I am grateful for my pets. Okay? And I see the little doo-doo in the corner, and this little wet spot. And maybe I'm not so grateful for my pets now. But we have the will to love. We love our pets with this compassion. So that will to love cleaned up this little mess. But as far as how the universe works, now when Anne wakes up in the morning, she's grateful for her pets. But what she isn't aware of is how grateful she is to her husband, Philip, who cleaned up this mess. So it's just, we have to take in all this gratitude and just be one with the universe. Okay. Another idea that came into me this week was cleansing. Okay? And this was a lot of housework, I think, and garden work outside. But it is a cleansing. To follow the Noble Eightfold Path, we need to be pure. We need to declutter all things in our life, and this includes material things we no longer need, people we no longer need in our vibration, and we also need to declutter our addictions. No, I don't lecture on addictions. I just say pick one before it picks you. Okay? We live in such a negative world that we think addictions are bad habits. But if we put a positive addiction in there, or a positive vibration, or a positive habit, then that brings love into other people's lives. So pick an addiction before it picks you. Along with this cleansing, we need to protect ourselves from negative energies and our psychic attacks. So we all must put our protective bubble around us and make sure that we are in the vibration that we need to be in. My next experience this week was transformation. And on Thursday I went to a memorial service. And this was a caring, sharing person whose will to love made a difference in her life and all the people that she touched. And transformation is doing what is right in our lives, the will to become. And by doing this, we need to follow our intuition. Okay, that's our gut response that comes up. We need to follow it as soon as it hits us. We have 30 seconds to act on it. Otherwise, our monkey mind throws wrenches into it. Okay? So, with that, being protected, use your intuition and act on it. Okay, my next experience this week is music. You ever heard the expression, music to my ears? Okay? This music comes from the primordial sound, and it's actually the Word. In the beginning, there was the Word. And if we look at it this way with our will to be, this is our inner sound, our inner voice. Soothing to our senses. This is our connection to the divine and the collective consciousness. Again, it's focusing on our will to be and our will to become. Music. It's also about our free will and our will to love. Free will, we have a lot of, is choice. In the metaphysical world, there is no sin, but there's a good choice and a bad choice. And this is our will to love, is to make those correct choices. Hate is a learned behavior. When we are born in this world, our spirit and our body is perfect. There is no racism, there is no jealousy, there is no anxiety. everything is perfect. There is where we have to be. We must use to learn our love to spread this music to everybody we touch. My last reflection on this week is healing and guides. And just to send out healing to all those that we know to be in need of healing physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. And to use our guide works with that. I have a friend who is actually doing a crusade for a person in West Virginia who was born with some brain anomaly. And he's done a lot of good work with that. Her name is Ariel Peregrino. And so my guides working in, this is where I got, one of these angelic realm guides was named Ariel. And she says that is the acronym for Angelic Realm Infusing Energetic Love. Okay, so when you think of Ariel, all right, get a little picture of the Little Mermaid in your head. Have her coming down as an angel and infusing that energetic love everywhere. Those were the impressions that I had this week, but it all has to do with the will to be, the will to do, and the will to become. And I leave you with that message. Thank you.